My name is Birkinesh Banbeta. I'm from Ethiopia, and from the southern nations and nationalities of Ethiopia, particularly from Gurage zone. I'm a nurse by profession, and I worked with the HIV orphans of the Missionaries of Charity for some time, and I was also teaching in St. Francis Institute of Philosophy and Theology to the seminarians about HIV/AIDS and human development, and I also practice my nursing profession. First of all, maybe it was important for them to learn about HIV/AIDS from a person who is not a religious. And the second thing, being also a health professional, I think it would give maybe better idea about the real things of HIV/AIDS, because sometimes the information that we get from here and there are just taken, but maybe not properly put together, so they can be understood by others. So I think that was necessary for them to get, especially about HIV/AIDS, from a health professional and also a lay person who is not religious, because there are religious health professionals maybe, but because we have come from outside the religious life, so I think telling the seminarians what we really face or what the people outside are facing was important. There are issues that they can discuss with priests about HIV/AIDS, like if a youth or a young person is affected or infected by HIV/AIDS, that person can come and talk about his problems, social problems, material problems, other needs, supports, maybe spiritual advices. But when I was interviewing the young people, like the issue of sex or sexuality, what they told me was that they wouldn't really feel that free to talk with priests about these issues. And like the issue about condom, some told me it wouldn't be that easy to talk with priests about condom. And because I asked them why, and they said, because they are going to tell us not to use condom. So we don't even, feel like talking about those sex and sexuality issues with priests, but with the rest of the things they would talk and discuss about. They themselves being the most affected, either with infection or the burden of HIV, even what HIV leaves behind. Most of it, maybe everybody shares or all share the burden, but when it comes to being infected biologically, women are the ones that are most affected. And also, from where I come, it being a rural area, and most of the women not having the chance of going to school or being educated or being like economically independent, they are most affected. And if a family member dies, like their brothers, sisters, children left behind, they will also have the other burden to care for the rest of the remaining parts of the family. So they have great role to play in this, especially for me, I would say, to prevent or to stop the epidemic. First of all, I don't know how to put it, but if these women have enough courage, maybe I can say, maybe other things are there, but the courage at least to say, to know to what is affecting them. For example, they can be asked for relationships, maybe outside marriage or other things, but these women have to know who is asking and what for, because they don't need to be involved in those situations that are really not helpful, because they don't, maybe this person who is asking them this is a person whom they don't know. So they are exposed to that situation. On the other hand, maybe if I can technically call it domestic violence kinds of things, when they are forced to do things that are they are not willing to, from their husband, because that area really, these other rapes and other things really, officially we don't hear much about, though they exist. But when these things happen, if they don't trust their husband, or if they think that this person goes around with other women and they are afraid that HIV can be brought to their house, if they had that courage to say, I don't want this, or we should get tested, though they do it, because our men go for trade to the cities and once a year they come. And when this happens, they say, no, before having any sexual affair, we have to test and know ourselves. So this part plays great role, and as I have been mentioning, also the elders play great role, because they now agreed that each young person who is engaging, or who is preparing to get married, both have to be tested together. So this part also, the women being aware of that, they don't really accept marriages that are arranged, and the elders also now no more arrange that marriage. But if they are asked to marry a man, or a man asks them to marry, they know that they have to test first. So these aspects, and what the church and the health institutions are doing also, because economic dependence was also one of the reasons for women not to say no to the things that they know and that is going to affect them, but they didn't have the courage to say no because they were really completely dependent on their husbands. But now with these income generating activities that they are given skill trainings, and they think, or they believe that they can sustain their life, and if they have children, they can take care of their children with that. That is playing also a great role. So it is helping women to combat the pandemic. What I see is that there is change taking place. Our elders are ready to accept that change, because they know that HIV has affected many families, and it really caused a lot of problems, leaving orphans behind, elders caring for these orphans and all that. So they are ready to take steps, even to avoid those malpractices or traditional malpractices. So this part, it is helping, but if we really do research, or we find something that is really still contributing to the spread of HIV, what we need to do is still create awareness. Inform these people, not really creating awareness, but sensitize the people that maybe they are not aware, but this is really causing problem. And at the same time, I think not only knowing, but behavior change is also very important, because people may know, but they are not ready to change. So finding out these areas that are really contributing to this factor, and sensitizing people that maybe they are not aware, but it is still contributing to the fact that HIV is still there, and it increases the number of people getting infected.